Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. So today we continue to study about the lovely Buddha. Last time we discussed about the Four Noble Truths. The last part to uh, stop the sufferings, or cessation of the sufferings, we need to follow what we call the A4 paths. And in the A4 paths, we have the first one, the right views. We need to recognize the importance of the Four Noble Truths. We need to recognize especially the law of karmas. That's where we stopped last time. Now, I'd like to continue to discuss about the law of karmas and what we call the law of cause and effect. And up to now, um, we have over 2.25 million people worldwide have tested positive for the coronavirus. According to the data from Johns Hopkins University, more than 155,000 people have died, and the United States alone has over 706,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases and more than 37 deaths. So that is the figures uh, that we get got from the news. And again, in Buddhist view, so we have this type of karmas that um, uh, happen to us. Now we talk about the individual karma. Last time we discussed about some types of karma like reproductive karmas for visible or invisible forms. The supportive karmas, that means if we do something, some people help us out so that we could finish the project early, we could be successful. And that's called supportive karma. Uh, the next one is obstructive karma. That's in opposite of the supportive karma. That means while we are working on the project or while we run business, someone try to obstruct us. Uh, so that's called obstructive karma. And of course, this happened like the coronavirus happened now. While we have the normal lives, suddenly this coronavirus spread everywhere. Is the effect to the people, billion people around the world. So it obstruct our normal lives. And the next one, what we call destructive karma. That means when we working on some project, when we run a business, when we do something happening like coronavirus happening. So that's bring destructions to us. Million people in the United States lost their jobs, and we are confined in our home with the social distance uh, rules. We could not get back to the normal life because of this type of destructive karma of the coronavirus. So uh, this is many people were affected. Yeah, millions or even billions of people around the world uh, were affected by this coronavirus. And in Buddhist views, there's another types of karma is what we call weighty karma, the heaviest karmas that happen to us. Like many people, they live in nursing home, the elderly people. So somehow because of this coronavirus, it take um, toll on them. That's mean why they uh, were sick, why they were weak, and the coronavirus affect to them tremendously, and that's why, according to the statistic, there's more than 80% of the patient of this coronavirus, as well as uh, the uh, mm, conditions of the elderly people. That's why it takes toll on them. This has been more than uh, 14.8% uh, death rates that happen to the age group of 80s and above. Let me show you the figures. So here, and up to now, we say that 14.8% of the age 80s and above that's belong to uh, the elderly people, and 8% of the age between 70 to 79, 3.6% between 60 to 69, and so forth. So the highest rate of deaths belong to the oldest age, the age of 80 and above. And of course, there's some people who have this kind of coronavirus or pass away. They may have some kind of pre-existing medical conditions like heart disease, heart attack, diabetes, chronic um, respiratory disease, hypertension, cancer, and so forth. So for those who have problem with heart, that may affect them tremendously. So again, in Buddhist view, this type of weighty karma, or the heavy karma that fall upon them. So again, we need to recognize at this moment of times, this is pretty hard for every people to handle life, because why they weak, why they have some kind of pre-existing medical conditions, this type of coronavirus again take toll on them too. So that's why they have the high percentage of passing away. So that's why we call the weighty karmas, the heavy karmas that fall upon them. And the next type of uh, karma in Buddhist view, what we call near-death karma. Near-death karma is mean when we have some kind of pre-existing medical condition, like elderly people. So now the coronavirus affect to them, so it may bring the death on them. It affect to their life, and for some, especially for younger people, they may have more chance to survive than the elderly people. So that's why we call the near-death karma. And we have heard this is some types of uh, what we call near-death experience, that some people, after they go back from death, they report or they told the story how this type of near-death experience occur to them. So let me show you a short video clips about this type of near-death experience or relate to near-death karma.
According to our Today.com poll. But what exactly is it? Some people claim they know because they've actually experienced it. They share incredible stories like reconnecting with deceased loved ones or learning the meaning of life. The accounts are vivid and dramatic, but are they imaginary? Or are they a true glimpse into life after death?
It's transformational. It's awesome. Pure love, pure joy, pure bliss.
Peace, ecstasy, harmony. There was no fear, there was no hierarchy.
It was just so wonderful. It was amazing.
The accounts are remarkable and widespread.
I knew instantly I was in the presence of my creator.
It changed me as a person. This life is not all there is.
From the young to the old, transcending language, culture, and geography.
It was really life-changing to have that near-death experience.
It redefined Barbara Bartolome's journey at the age of 31. You went into the hospital, you were having a surgical procedure. What happened?
I was having a myelogram, which is injecting iodine dye into the base of my neck.
The dye accidentally went into her brain, she said, and within moments, consciousness was gone. She was flatlining.
I literally went from inside my body. When I shut my eyes, I was then just the next second I was up on the ceiling looking down at the entire room.
The feeling like nothing she'd ever known.
There was this feeling of a presence that was next to me. It felt like it was God. It felt so loving and so accepting and so eternal. I literally looked down and said, if I'm up here and my body's down there, then I think I must have just died.
So you just felt a presence in the world, but you didn't see.
I didn't look. I was just watching everything happening below me.
But she wasn't ready to die yet, Barbara recalls.
I just began calmly talking to it and saying how much I wanted to go back into my life because my baby daughter was only 5 months old at the time and my son was 8 years old.
Pledging to make changes in her life, Barbara says she was suddenly back.
I shut my eyes up on the ceiling and reopened them, and I was looking right into the orthopedic surgeon's face.
It was striking. From that moment on, she was filled with love, peace, and purpose.
The loss of fear of death is so amazing.
It really doesn't matter if we prove this phenomenon exists or not. What is central is what the patient in front of us is experiencing.
Lauren Belge is a critical care physician and author of Near Death in the ICU.
We know that they're clinically dead, and then whenever they are revived, they will actually explain to us what they saw in sometimes exquisite detail about the process of resuscitation.
She estimates seeing at least 50 patients firsthand who recounted a near-death experience.
They may have encounters with loved ones that have gone before them, or spiritual beings that actually fit their belief system, and an extreme reluctance to come back to their physical facility after experiencing this intense love and peace.
For many years, Barbara Bartolome didn't openly discuss her near-death experience until she began seeking out others. She became involved with the International Association for Near-Death Studies, a large organization dedicated to research, support, and education. More than 15 million Americans may have had a near-death experience, the group estimates.
This organization helps experiencers with acclimating to their near-death experience.
Is it a gift?
It is a gift.
Barbara now runs her local chapter.
I realized that talking about my near-death experience is what I'm supposed to be doing. It's the peace that I'm supposed to give. It's the gift.
For somebody who is possibly facing death right now, what do you want them to know?
That they don't need to fear it.
In completing her purpose, she's also spreading love, hope, and understanding.
Doing your best to be a good person, I think, through your life here is all that you're really being asked to do.
Now, there are many skeptics who believe these accounts are imaginary or a hallucination or simply made up. Barbara and those in the near-death community just dismiss the skeptics. They say it is their truth and they know that it's real. You may be wondering what the science says about it all. Is there a way to prove it? Well, in fact, there may be. Doctors and scientists are conducting new research in the field, and we're going to take a closer look at that tomorrow. Guys, back to you.
Okay, so you see that so some people they have this type of near-death experience, and some of them they may have some kind of bliss, uh, some kind of love, some kind of uh, joyfulness, and so forth. Well, of course, there's some people they may have some kind of fearful experience, uh, some kind of frightened experience, and so forth. So depend upon each individual karmas. So we could have that type of needed experience differently. So according to the Buddha, he said that there's three types of people. The first type is that when they pass away, they go up to the heavens. Of course, in Buddhist view, there's many levels of heavens. We have the heaven in the desire realms. We have the heaven in the form realms. We have the heaven in the formless realms. So depend upon uh, the karmas of those people, if they have done the good deeds for the rest of their life. So there's possibility that after they pass away, they would be born in one of those levels of heavens, and that's one type. And the Buddha lists out the second type is that the one who always do bad karmas, right after pass away, they would go down to the hell directly. So somehow, with these two types of people, it's similar as the Christian notion of after someone passed away, they either go up to the heaven or go down to the hell. But the third groups of people, that is uh, include most of the common people. Would I say that? Because as human, we do some sort of good karma and bad karma. So most of the times, according to the Mahayana traditions, we go through what we call 4 days um, of being intermediate beings. Uh, or in the Tibetan terms, Bado. So because we still have certain types of attachment to our family members on other things, that's why somehow it ties down here for a while before we made the decision of acceptance to move on. But talking about the near-death karmas, again, depend upon our own karmas. Sometimes, or most of the time, if we have done good karmas, we have very good karma for ourselves and others, most of the time we pass away peacefully. But on the other hand, if we do some sort of bad karmas, the response be that right before we pass away, there's some kind of frightened figures, frightened conditions or scenes, and that may appear in our mind. And that's why the Buddha said that if we pass away peacefully, like we go to sleep, that's the indication that we may be reborn as human again. Otherwise, if we see people who were struggling with their death, they probably they may have encountered some kind of frightened scenes or visions in their mind that they may be led to those destinations. And that's why in Buddhist view, we need to respect the one who just passed away, especially when 8 hours right after someone passed away. We need to respect the right not to touch them, not to move them, not to change the clothes, so that at least so they could get out of this physical body peacefully and normally. Otherwise, if we try to move them, if we try to change their clothes, if we try to do something to them physically, it may invoke the anger or the negative state of mind, and that's so dangerous for them. As much as they have that type of thoughts, it's easy for them to go down to the paths that feasible with those thoughts. Again, while we are living, whichever things we think about, whether we have a good thought, bad thoughts, and so forth, we still here. We still have this physical body, and we still stay around here. But when we don't have this kind of body anymore, when our what we call consciousness leave our body, and whenever we have any thought, whether it's good thought or bad thought, those thoughts will lead us to the appropriate uh, realms of existence. For example, if we have a good thoughts about heaven, we would go to some uh, types of heavens. And if we have a thought about Buddhas, we would uh, uh, based upon the Buddha power to be born in the Western Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha. And if we have a thought about human beings, about our relatives, the one who still love us, we have tendency to get back to this human lives. And if we have a thought about some sort of animal and so forth, in Buddhist view, those thoughts may lead us to those animal realms and so forth. So that's why uh, when someone passes away, it's so critical for us that we need to pray regardless of traditions, regardless of the religion we follow. With that kind of praise, the soul or the intermediate beings or the consciousness would rely upon those type of prayer. Uh, if they pay attention, if they focus their mind sincerely, they would be saved in Buddhist tradition by Amitabha Buddha to be reborn in the Western Pure Land, or in the Christian tradition, they would be saved by their own God and so forth. So without those kind of prayer, it's really dangerous for them because they don't know what's going on, because they have different paradigms uh, from us, the one who's still living. For example, we can recognize the difference between our daily activities and our dreams. In the dreams, we may have seen all kind of scenes, all kind of phenomena. Uh, we may have seen we were different person. We live in different dimension, different places. But when we wake up, we hear. So there's the state of the consciousness or intermediate beings to after they pass away is most of time if they don't get use of the prayer, if no one pray for them, if they have not sufficient good karma, they will be frightened for them to go into the unknown realms that they never seen before. And again, in Buddhist view, depend upon their karma, those realms those destinations would appear in their mind according to their own karmas. And if they create good karmas, they would see those realms, those destinations, so that they could follow. If they create bad karma, like killing, harming other people, and so forth, the frightened realms, illusions, abuse, a vision would appear in their mind, and they would try to run away from those fearful figures, fearful places, and eventually they may end up to be born in the lower realm of existence, like hell, hungry ghosts, or animals. So that's why the near-death karma is so important for the one who are going to pass away. As a Buddhist, we need to have compassionate mind. With this kind of understanding, we need to pray for them. Uh, Either we pray for them to be reborn as human, or to be born in some levels of heaven, uh, with for the sincere Buddhists, we pray for them to be reborn in the Western Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha, so that they would not be reborn in this samsara or cycle of rebirth anymore. So again, the near-death karma is so critical for those disease. If uh, they have someone that pray for them, is their blessing. Yeah, but on the other hand, at that moment before they pass away, if some people try to disturb their peacefulness, they try to instigate uh, or raise some chaos, that may make the mind of the deceased being angry, being frustrated, and so forth. With those kind of negative thoughts, uh, it's so harmful for them. It's so dangerous for the disease that they may have the chance to go down to lower realm of existence. And that's why, as Buddhists, we need to pray for those who are going to pass away. Even after they pass away, we need to respect their right to keep them for at least 8 hours. During that time, we could do more pray for them. So that's why I used to suggest to the Buddhist families that they need to request the hospital, clinics, a doctor to allow their diseased relatives who just passed away to lie down there at least 8 hours, so that we could have chance to pray for them uh, without touching or moving them physically, so that they could have the chance to move on in different realm of existence peacefully uh, and calmly. So again, that are the near-death karma, and we just watch that type of near-death experience with those people who may have seen the nice vision, the lovely vision, the calmness vision, and so forth. So probably they have the good karma while they were alive. So that's why we need to drain good karma whenever we can, so that at least at night we sleep peacefully. And when it's time for us to go, it's nothing for us to be regret. Uh, so the next type of karma, what we call the habitual karma. Um, Habitual karma means we do some type of karmas that become the habit. And in general terms, we talk about what we call addiction. Like if someone who addicted with smoking, drinking, gambling, uh, and so forth. So because we drink that type of habitual patterns, and eventually those habitual patterns become our habitual karmas. Since we were born, we may have some types of habitual karmas. Uh, it doesn't mean that it's bad. For example, we may have the habit of waking up early in the morning. May have the habit of going to sleep early. We may have the habit of drinking tea and so forth. So those are the non-harmful uh, mm, habits that we have. Of course, if someone involved in certain types of intoxicant, like smoking, drinking alcohol, and so forth, so with those kind of habit, it may be harmful for them to get out, to change. So that why, as a Buddhist, we need to uh, know our limitations. We need to recognize things that may be harmful for us, so that we would not involve in those kind of addiction, like smoking, right, drinking, or gambling. And because as much as we are addicted with those intoxicants, it's not easy to get out. Even sometimes we have this strong mind to stop those type of addiction, but still it's not easy. So it's better not to involve or not to enjoy those type of addiction. Okay, so let me uh, show you some video clips about what to call stop smoking. Why it's so hard?
Will stop smoking and never go back. But for the majority of smokers, it's not that easy. Many people try to quit smoking a number of times before they succeed in quitting for good. With all of the good reasons to quit using tobacco, why is it so hard for so many people to do it? A big reason has to do with brain chemicals. Certain things like chocolate trigger the release of natural chemicals in the brain that make you feel good. Naturally, we feel an urge to keep doing those things. Often we can resist overdoing it, but some things are harder to resist than others. Tobacco contains a very powerful addictive drug called nicotine. When nicotine reaches the brain, it fits perfectly into a receptor that releases those feel-good chemicals. Tobacco provides the brain with very high amounts of nicotine. As a result, the brain creates even more nicotine receptors, all of them wanting to be fed with more nicotine. Those urges can be very hard to resist. When you stop using tobacco, the body experiences symptoms of withdrawal. Urges to relieve those symptoms can become especially strong, and smoking gets nicotine to the brain in less than 10 seconds. But over time, if you don't use tobacco, the urges gradually weaken. Nicotine receptors begin disappearing, and people enjoy the many benefits of being tobacco-free. The Mayo Clinic Nicotine Dependence Center is a world leader in helping people stop using tobacco. It offers outpatient treatment and a residential treatment program. Call or visit our website to find out.
Okay, so it's true that again, as much as we build up some type of habitual patterns mentally, and what in Buddhist term we call mental formations, uh, it's not easy to get rid of them, like smoking, drinking, gambling, and so forth. So it's not um, easy for us to let them go, because those type of chemicals may have changed our brain chemicals. And of course, if we have the strong determinations to go through those type of programs like the Mayo Clinic Hospital that guide us, yeah, we could have the chance to transform to get out of that type of addiction, but still it requires tremendous power, tremendous determinations to get out those addictions. So that's what we call the habitual karmas. Since we were born, or after we were born, we didn't form any kind of habit, but throughout times, we associate with other people, we interact with other people, we learn from other people at home, at school, at work, in community, and so forth. Eventually, we form that type of habitual patterns, and in Buddhist view, habitual karmas that lead us to be addicted with those harmful addictions. Again, like smoking, drinking, gambling, and so forth. That's why in Buddhist approach, the Buddha provide what they call the five basic precepts: no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no taking intoxicant. So as long as we abide with those five basic principles, eventually we would stay away from those harmful toxicants, from harmful activities. So eventually, we would not create any kind of karmas. So that only also form a good type of habitual patterns, habitual karma for ourselves. For example, when we see uh, uh, birds, and for the Buddhists, we would not dare to shoot them. We would not dare to fish because we know as long as we some type of karmas, that type of karma will get back to us. So it become the habit, not killing, not hunting, not fishing. But for others, if they uh, don't follow that types of approaches, it's easy for them. At first, they say, "Oh, okay, I like to do the fishing because it's enjoyable. This is kind of rewarding when they catch one or two big fishes." But still, in Buddhist view, we harm the animals. And for the ones who enjoy their hunting, shooting down the deers or some kind of wild animals, yeah, they will be proud that they have the skill to hunt out those wildlife animals. But still, in Buddhist view, that type of action create bad karma for ourselves, and eventually it will come back to us. And of course, uh, again, because we mm, don't care much about the sentiments of the other animals, like wildlife animals. So some of us kill them um, mm, at the market, especially Wuhan market, and that's why the coronavirus spread from those live wildlife animals to humans, and from human to human. That's why it spread everywhere around the globe too. That is because of our habitual karma, habitual patterns of killing, of harming other animals. So as long as we restrain ourselves from killing those type of animals, we would reduce the chance to have the spread of the virus greatly. So again, with that type of habitual karma, we need to recognize that we need to drive good habitual karma, good habitual patterns, like waking up early morning, like helping other people, especially the needy one. Again, if we do that type of good habitual patterns, we bring the good retribution for ourselves. And if we do bad habitual patterns, eventually the bad retribution will fall upon us. So it's our choice. Um, and the next one, what we call reserve or cumulative karma. That means when we go out to work, we save the money in the seven account so that whenever we deal with the crisis, we could use those seven money for our daily activities, especially during these times of a year when the coronavirus happening. Many people in the past, if they put some sort of saving, now is the time for them to support their own families, members, and others' activities. But if they have not saved any kind of money, it is be hard for them, especially the one who's still paying for the mortgage, the one who's still paying for the rent, the one who pay for the utility bills and so forth. So again, there's some types of reserve commerce that could be helpful for us. Of course, when we talk about the reserve karma in the past way, like the seven account that we have in the bank. When we are in need, we could use them. But if we view them in the negative ways, sometimes we, in the past, have raised some bad karma, and eventually, when it's time, we have to pay for that debt. For example, if we borrow money from the banks uh, to buy a house. Uh, uh, and of course, for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and so forth, we could not pay the mortgage until the point that they would foreclose our house. So that's kind of what we call reserve karmas, cumulative karmas that will affect us on the way. Um, and those are what we call individual karma, the thing that I list up before. Reserving, reserve cumulative karmas, habitual karmas, near-death karma, weighty karma, supportive karmas, obstructive karma, um, destructive karmas, reproductive karma, and so forth. Those belong to individual karmas. Each of us drain those type of karmas that will affect to us and when others in the positive and in negative. So in Buddhist view, each of us create those type of karmas, but when we live together, like at home, uh, we live together as spouse, siblings, parents, children, relatives, so forth. We share some sort of what we call collective karmas, and in communities, in society too, we share some sort of collective karmas too. And look, the actual example of coronavirus uh, demonstrate this type of collective karma. Even the people in China, they kill and consume animal at the Wuhan market. It's thousand miles away, but because of their individual karma, it affects to the people surrounding them uh, at that location, that market, at that city or province, or even around China. But again, now because of the mass transportation, we have this type of character karmas that spread out everywhere that affect to our community here in United States, in Louisville, Kentucky. So time is up. So I'd like to stop here today, and next time I will discuss more about this type of karma. And Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. See you then. Thank you.